First up, we have the NEF6Li by Navac. Comes in a nice carrying case. Cost $500 unless you have a coupon code. And I can tell you right now, it's a sturdy tool inside. It's a pretty heavy case. Got your cord storage up here. Plug pops in. This will dangle around on you, so you're gonna have to find a way to keep that all nice and tight. But has a reamer. It also has nice tubing cutter off the flares. A little gap right there, which is nice. That's for when you make your flare, make it all nice and neat, and then you see the flare nut laying over there. That way you can cut off the minimal amount. You know what's going to happen. Has 1/4 inch, 5/8, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 5/16 dies. Comes with an extra battery. So you got 2 batteries. They charge with the cord. The charger itself has a light on the back of it. It turns red when it's charging, turns green when it's finished. Charged both of these up last night. They were pretty well charged. Didn't take long to charge them up, but you plug them in right there. That's contender number 1. High dollar. And you probably, if you only do a routine flare here and there, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're probably not going to want to buy this one because it is expensive. Now, the competition. The Hillmore orbital flare. It's manual. Makes nice flares. Got the little stop block right here. Kitty cat. Cost $137 unless you have a coupon code. And all these prices I'm getting off True Tech Tools website, so that's where I bought both of these at during time. I got this, ordered it, I want to say Sunday online, got it yesterday, which is Friday. And I bought this myself for my birthday. It's my personal birthday present. I got my little stimulus check, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to take some of that money. I'm going to stimulate the economy and buy myself a tool that I think will be handy at my job. So what I want to do now is I want to try to give a real-world application. Got some pipe hanging here. This is 5/8, and I'm going to ream them in the air like that, and then I'm going to put this guy to the use. I'm going to use the block, and I want to try to do it with no fudge factor. I think when you use a tool, you should be able to use a stop block, clamp it down after it's all reamed and everything, and flare it, and you shouldn't have to worry about it not passing the go, no-go. This was the question I had in mind. So let's find out how they both do. All right, contender number 1, orbital flaring tool, deburring tool. My job, a lot of times we're dealing with stuff like this. It's obviously in a ceiling, usually obviously a drop ceiling. Most places we deal with are institutional schools, what have you. Now, take this guy here. It does make a good flare, but I have a problem with this block. I think you have to fudge it too much in order to get it to work. So, got my 5/8. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it right there. Tighten him down. Now I put my thumb on top of that so it wouldn't pop out and ride proud. Clamp it down, make the flare. And I do like the orbital action where it slip burnish the flare. Alright. Let's see if this dude passes the go, no go. It may very well. Looks pretty good. Let's see. That's what I'm talking about. It's inconsistent. So let me show you. The flare does look good. Come on, focus. There you go. I mean, it looks good. Nice and clean. It just doesn't want to pass the 5/8. Go, no go. Now, just because this one didn't pass, doesn't mean that one's going to do any better. Let's get out the new cutoff tool. I love it when you gotta have a cutter that's got a flare wheel on it, man. They're awesome. This cutter is very, very heavy. Has a feel of quality on it, I gotta admit. I'm not big on these, you know, the little rubber decorations here. They don't seem to really do anything but, you know, make it all purty. It's good for when you forget that nut after you make that perfect flare. Alright. Do this again. Now I'm going to give the Hillmore another chance. You saw that I held it down on that stop. For the guys right out there, you shouldn't have held it down. Okay, let's try it the other way. Maybe you're absolutely right. Let's put the 5/8 on there. See, the stop has a lot of slop in it. So I'm gonna let it just push till it stops. Maybe that's what they intended. Okay, there we go. It's kind of tight on there now. There we go. That's kind of snug on there, but it'll come off. So let's get him back in here. Let's tighten him down. Let's make another flare. All right. Burnish that bad boy. Does a good job on that. Give it that. And I think this is the perfect tool if you're only doing an occasional flare here and there. But if you're on a job and you've got to do flare after flare after flare, dude, this is gonna kill you. All right. Now let's see if the go no go passes. It may very well. Now it's too big. All right. First time too small, second time too big. You don't see what I'm getting at here is we're having to fudge with that doggone thing too much. Time is money. Right now I'm losing money. And I don't know about Mitsubishi or any of the other VRF manufacturers, but Daikin wants that, they want that to pass. They don't want it to be too big, they don't want it to be too small. All right, that's a good cutoff tool, tubing cutter, man. I do like it. All right, let's ream it out. Feels good. All right, 5/8 block. It's right here. It's got the stop. All right. All right. Pushing it against the stop. Tightening this down. Bending back my thumbnail, which hurts. Okay, I went reverse all the way. I want to make sure it's all the way back. Now, I also want to make sure when you push this in there, it does knock that block out of the way, but I kind of like, I want it out of the way like that. I want to know that it's out of the way. There, locked in there. Go forward. Done. Take this off. Open it up all the way. Let's hope. Failed the first time. Nice. Give it a second chance, just like I did the Hillmore. Nothing else, I can do a review on this tubing cutter on how good it cuts. Pushing against it, tight, tightening down. Now I'm gonna make sure I had it super tight. Maybe I didn't have it tight enough and maybe it slid on me. It's a possibility, because that felt like it was tight on there. This didn't just slide out real easy. Now I'm gonna try and see if I can put this on here and it will push that out of the way. Now I put it on there. See, it's in the way still, so you're gonna have to get this guy out of the way. Can't just leave him there. And that's the problem I have right there, because man, I do not want to bend that. Okay, move that out of the way. You got to get it just to the point where you can't get it super tight or it's not going to come out. So now I'm going to tighten this down. There, I snugged it a little tighter. See what happens. Now that time I know the pipe didn't move. Perfect. I didn't have it tight enough. Let's do a third time on the high dollar one because I just want to make sure I'm not cheating myself here because I spent $500 on something and I feel like an idiot. So I want to do it again. I want to get consistency on this. Did I mention what a good tubing cutter this was? Reamer's about as good as the Yellow Jacket one, you know, it's got a, you know, the changeable blades. Room in here for more blades. I say that, yeah. Comes with 2 extra blades. I say blades, 2 extra little reamers. All right. This is probably the biggest part right here. Big pain in the butt to have to do, but it's very vital and important that you do it. All right, get it up there. Okay, I got it snug. I can still move that, so I'm gonna tighten that down there. Still a little too tight. Let's move that. There we go. Move him out of the way. Snug this guy down. Put my Monday grip on instead of my Friday grip. All right. It's on there. Keep those fingers crossed. This is the test I can't get people to tell me, you know, did it pass the gauge test? And say, oh yeah. Prove it. Fits in there like a glove. So I didn't have it tight the first time. So, my opinion. If you're doing this day in and day out and you got to make flares, you're doing ductless, you know, mini splits, anything. And you're like, well, it's got a factory flare on it. You know, I don't have to do that. You know, that's just stupid. Well, factory flares are stupid because they look like crap. You always have to cut off a factory flare off the piece of line set that you get because they're always dog crap and you know it. You're doing a lot of work like this. You saw how fast it was compared to the Hillmore. The Hillmore is like, and if you're like, well, you know, that flare gauge, I don't need it. I'm good if it's, you know, if it looks good, it covers the top of the flare and the nuts on there doesn't slip off, I'm happy. Well, if you're happy, then the Hillmore will be right for you, be perfect. But if you've got to go with factory specs and what they demand when you're installing equipment like that, you know, you're an installer and you're doing a job that's got, you know, one system has 20 heads on it, and you've got, you know, 2 flares per head to make, your liquid and your gas line, you're going to want something like that to get in there and make all those flares. You know, you're going to wear yourself out reaming and doing all that anyway during the day. Look how quick it was to change that, just to put it on there, bam, tighten it down, make the flare, take it off, take the die off. I mean, that die comes off nice and easy. Got it in there, lock it down, snug it real tight. When you're done, you unscrew that, bam, you're finished. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 of these dies you can set up. You can set up your 1/4 inch, your 3/8, your 1/2 inch, and your 5/8. That's the normal stuff. Usually 3/4, that's really big units. Some of your ducted units are like that, but then once you get to 7/8, you're going flange fittings. You're not going flares. So you've got everything you need. So my honest opinion is it worth the $500? It's pricey, but it's well built. Feels really solid. It doesn't feel like a toy at all. You saw how I fought with that Hillmore, and I hate that. I hate up in the ceiling, trying to get it just right, and I've done that before. I've done trying to had to redo a flare because somebody over torqued the old flare and it had a crack in it. Had enough line set to make, you know, a couple new flares. I mean, had plenty of line set. Cut it off, put it in there, use the gauge block. It was too damn big. Crap. Cut it off. Put the flare nut on there. Do another one. It might be fine. But you saw what I did on this one. I went ahead and I pushed my finger on it so the gauge block wouldn't ride up high. Bam, put it on there. It was too small. I let the gauge block, you know, kind of bottom out a little bit. I didn't really jam it hard, but I put on there where it would slide off of it. It was too big. I think Ralph Wolf, when he first started talking about the Hillmore orbital flaring block, he was saying you had to put almost had to like hold it down, but put about a dime's width between the top of the pipe and that gauge, that stop block, and that seemed to be the right height. I don't want to have to do that. Not when you got this guy right here all day long being consistent, and it's not got nowhere to go. I mean, it's going to stop right there, so this is really, it's really designed well. Took a big chance, but spending $500 of my own money on it, I know. But I love tools. They're like toys for me. I just love having them. The company I work for probably would have bought that for me if I'd wanted them to, but I like owning my own tools on some things. They're really super expensive, and they're repetitive, mundane tools like vacuum pumps. Mainly my vacuum pumps. That's the one thing I have them buy if I need a new vacuum pump. A lot of my other hand tools and stuff I've purchased because I want to own them. I want to be able to use them wherever I want to use them if the need comes up. So I'm going to have to say the winner on the head-to-head is the Navac. Ease of use, consistency, not a bad purchase. If you got the money and you do a lot of flares, you know, this will make you money down the line. If you don't have a lot of money, starting out, there's nothing wrong with using something like this or the Yellow Jacket flaring tool. You know, it's what you can afford. It's how much you use it. So my opinion is it worth the money? Yes, it is. So I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.